The window exploded inward at 9:15 p.m. Virgil Starks never heard the shot that killed him. 5 dead, 8 attacked, 0 arrests, ever. The Midnight Paradigm. Here at the Midnight Paradigm, we examine the investigation. This case hides something extraordinary. The law protected the killer. Spring 1946. Texarkana straddles 2 states, 1 city, 1 terror. Veterans came home. The war was won. Texarkana exhaled. Richard Griffin was 29, timber company worker. Polly Ann Moore was 17. She danced on Fridays. March 24th, 1946, they parked off Richmond Road after dark. The medical examiner's report documented both deaths as execution style. Griffin was shot in the head, execution style. No witnesses, no shell casings recovered, a controlled crime scene. Not a crime of passion. The evidence says deliberate staging. What strikes us, look at what the killer didn't leave. No fingerprints, gloves worn, no footprints near the vehicle. Jimmy Hollis and Mary Jean Larry survived a month earlier. Larry described a white cloth mask over his entire face. Eye holes cut with scissors, a flour sack type construction, she said. According to Larry's Texas Ranger statement, he spoke nothing. That mask was never recovered, not in 80 years. Betty Jo Booker was 16. She played saxophone. She played the Spring Lake Park Dance, April 13th. Paul Martin was 17. He drove her home after midnight. Martin was found dead at the car. Betty Jo, gone. Betty Jo played saxophone at the Spring Lake Dance. She was 16. She left with Paul Martin at midnight. Martin was found dead at the car. Betty Jo absent. Her body, found half a mile away in the woods. Her saxophone case was never recovered. No explanation ever given. The full breakdown is pinned in the comments. Texas Ranger M.T. Gonzalez arrived April 15, 1946. Gonzalez had tracked Bonnie and Clyde's aftermath in the 30s. He set decoy couples in parked cars, a phantom trap. The killer never took the bait, not once. According to Texas Ranger case files, 400 suspects interviewed. The FBI joined in April. Federal resources, same result. Gun sales tripled in April, hardware stores out of locks. Schools released early Fridays. Parents drove children home from dances. An entire city changed its behavior. The Phantom's greatest crime. The interstate boundary created a legal nightmare investigators never resolved. Arkansas evidence had no automatic standing in Texas courts. Gonzalez said jurisdiction hamstrung the case from the start. In our assessment, structural failure, not investigator incompetence. The killings created a forensic void. No DNA in 1946. Blood typing existed. Mixed outdoor samples gave only ranges. Ballistics matched all bullets, .32 caliber. No weapon ever recovered. The bullets matched. The gun vanished. He understood forensics. Here's the detail that stopped every investigator cold. If you formed a theory, drop it below. Youell Swinney was a career criminal from Texarkana. Car theft, robbery, a record stretching years before 1946. He owned a car matching survivor descriptions. His wife Peggy spoke to investigators for hours. Extraordinary statement. According to Texas Ranger records, Peggy named Youell as Phantom. She described details matching unreleased crime scene information, details the public didn't know. Only someone present would know. Investigators believed her. So what stopped them? The law. Then Texas statute intervened. Wife cannot testify against husband. The rule protected marital bonds. It protected a killer instead. Peggy's testimony was legally inadmissible, her knowledge irrelevant in court. She told investigators, "My husband is the Phantom Killer." Texas law 1946. A wife cannot testify against her husband. Youell Swinney walked free. The rule protected marriages, not victims. He was convicted of car theft that year and imprisoned. The attack stopped. Correlation, not causation, officially. The full breakdown is pinned in the comments. The evidence against Swinney was circumstantial, every bit of it. Car ownership, criminal history, a legally silenced wife's testimony. Everything changes now, and not in the expected direction. May 3rd, 1946. Farmhouse 4 miles outside Texarkana. Virgil Starks was 56. He farmed and raised cattle. Katie Starks was his wife. They'd lived there 20 years. At 9:15 p.m., Virgil was reading the evening newspaper. The first bullet came through the window behind his head. According to Katie's statement in the Texas Ranger file, Virgil fell. She ran. The second shot came through. The bullet entered her jaw. She kept moving forward. She ran barefoot across 2 fields to a neighbor's house. Outside, in the dark, was safer than the lit house. The Phantom fired through the window. He never entered. Every previous attack was face-to-face. This was remote, different. Why the change? Investigators proposed 3 explanations. First, escalation. The Phantom was becoming more bold. Second, personal motive. He knew the Starks. Third, pressure. The investigation was closing in on him. Consuelos favored personal motive. He never said why publicly. Katie Starks survived. She was the case's most important witness. Her description, a dark figure, heavy coat, no face visible. She never identified a suspect. No lineup produced a match. Attacks stopped after May 3rd. 4 attacks, 10 weeks, silence. That silence is itself evidence. Investigators tracked every theory. Death, imprisonment, relocation, the silence offered no answer. Swinney was imprisoned in 1947. The timeline is suggestive. Every attack followed the same pattern. Couples, cars, isolated roads. May 3rd, 1946, Starks was shot through a farmhouse window. Katie was shot reaching for the phone. She escaped. Why a house? Why a home couple? Why break pattern? Some investigators believe the killer knew the Starks personally. The full breakdown is pinned in the comments. Jerry Atkins spent 5 years reviewing every Texarkana case file. Atkins concluded Swinney was the most credible suspect. Not proven, not charged. Most credible where distinction matters. Evidence shows proximity pattern knowledge and a silenced witness. Evidence cannot show the physical act. No forensic link established. Our reading, the law caused more damage than the killer. Spousal immunity laws were reformed in Texas in 1986. 40 years too late for victims. That law still echoes. 80 years later, modern investigators face an impossible forensic barrier. Genetic genealogy requires biological evidence. Texarkana 1946 left none. Urban Nanolabs and Othram have revolutionized cold case DNA work. In 2024, Othram identified a 1,962 Jane Doe from bone. But genealogy requires biological material, blood, tissue, or hair roots. Texarkana 1946 scenes were outdoor. Rain, weather, months of contamination. No biological evidence from 1946 Texarkana has been confirmed preserved. We cannot say this case is closed or solvable. Youell Swinney died in 1994. He never confessed, never denied. Peggy Swinney outlived him. Her testimony inadmissible while he lived. After his death, she confirmed her original statement to researchers. Her confirmation proves nothing legally. Think about that. The Phantom case, known but unprovable, its own category. Texas reformed the spousal immunity law 5 times since 1946. Each reform addressed exactly the barrier that silenced Peggy Swinney. The Texarkana case cited in 2 Texas appellate court decisions. 5 died. The law protected the one witness who knew. Katie Starks lived until 1994. The porch light, always off. Her niece told Atkins about the porch light in 2012. Darkness is safety. The Phantom's lasting legacy, fear of light. The 1976 film Town That Dreaded Sundown dramatized the murders. A local tragedy became American mythology. The Phantom became iconic. Mythology obscures investigation failures. We need to separate them clearly. The real failure was institutional, no evidence coordination between jurisdictions. The real failure was legal. The law silenced the witness. The real failure was temporal. Forensic technology didn't yet exist. 3 systemic failures. Anyone alone might have been overcome. All 3 together created an impenetrable shield for the killer. The Innocence Project has documented how systemic failures compound. Texarkana predates the Innocence Project by 4 decades. Same pattern. Jurisdiction conflicts, evidence silos, legal technicalities overriding truth. In 2026, 80 years after the last attack, no investigation. Both suspected killers are dead. Both potential biological sources, gone. The victims' families lived 80 years without a named perpetrator. That is the cost of the 3 systemic failures identified. No cold case is unsolvable in principle. Some are. Texarkana, not lacking effort, lacking preserved evidence. Every Friday on the Midnight Paradigm, cold cases cracked. This episode, science arrived, 80 years too late. The Phantom Killer will not be named by DNA. Honest. We understand why it failed, so future ones don't. The Texarkana case changed Texas law. That is its legacy. These failures leave you with questions. Drop them below. Full case file in the description. Watch the full investigation.